On my wedding day, my half-sister, who came to offer her blessings, suddenly knelt before me, tearfully bowing down. "Sister, I've listened to you and served 99 clients in the brothel. Can I have Nathan and Ethan Joe back now?" My fiancé, Ethan Joe, immediately halted the wedding ceremony and tore up the marriage certificate. My brother ordered me to be sent to the brothel so I could repay my half-sister's suffering tenfold. After 3 years of being a brothel, there wasn't a single good piece of flesh on my body, and I lost child after child. After serving 198 clients, the madam finally agreed to let me leave. As I passed a private lounge, I overheard Ethan Joe and my brother talking inside. "We knew Sophia was lying. Nina didn't force her to serve clients. Aren't we going too far? If we didn't go along with it, how could you successfully break off the engagement and marry Sophia? Besides, so many people were there at the time. If we exposed her, how would Sophia save face?" That's right. If people knew Sophia fabricated such a big lie to frame her sister, she probably wouldn't survive. Nina is at least a daughter, and someone will protect her no matter how big a mistake she makes. So, let's not mention this again. Once we bring Nina back, we'll make it up to her. Heartbroken, I returned to the madam's side and numbly said, "I'm not leaving. Arrange for me to serve clients." But Ethan Joe and my brother weren't happy. They dragged me back home. I clung to the madam's sleeve, refusing to leave. The madam looked at the two menacing figures before her, people she couldn't afford to offend, and pleaded, "Nina, you're the most popular girl in my brothel. I don't want to let you go either. But you're Nathan Sue's sister, how dare I force you to stay? Be a good girl, go back, forget what happened, and live a good life." My brother, Nathan Sue, looked at my pleading appearance and said irritably, "What? You've become addicted to serving clients in a brothel? Or are you putting on a show for us?" "Nina Sue, let me tell you, this is the consequence of your persecuting sister." Ethan Joe, fueled the flames from the side. "Nina, if you're really addicted, I don't mind make you a concubine and have you serve me every night." I looked at Ethan Joe with empty eyes and began to loosen my belt in front of everyone. If Ethan Joe wants Nina's body, then take it. When I first arrived at the brothel, I resisted desperately. What I got in return was beating after beating. I smashed a vase and pointed the sharp shards at the madam. "If you dare force me, my brother and Ethan Joe won't let you get away with it." At that time, I thought they just wanted to teach me a lesson and wouldn't really push me into a fire pit. Because of my non-cooperation, I managed to avoid it for half a month. But half a month later, the madam brought 2 highly skilled men. I was helpless before them and could only let them take me by force. My eyes burned with hatred, and I wished I could kill the madam. "When I tell my brother and Ethan Joe, they'll make sure you die a horrible death." But the madam looked at me with pity and told me a cruel truth. "Miss Sue, where do you think those 2 men came from today? They were arranged by your brother and Ethan Joe. They said they'd let you go home once you'd served 198 clients. Don't blame them. You brought this on yourself." At that time, although my heart was breaking, I still held a glimmer of hope. I firmly believed that Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe had been deceived by Sophia Sue, which was why they treated me like this. But now I knew that it was all just wishful thinking. My heart was as dead as ashes, and shame had long become meaningless to me. Since this was what they wanted to see, then I would cooperate. Seeing my actions, Ethan Joe froze on the spot. It was Nathan Sue who reacted first. He grabbed my belt and coldly scolded, "Nina Sue, are you crazy?" Nathan Sue's touch sent a shiver through me, and I took 2 steps back. I hated Nathan Sue, but I was even more afraid of him. Since the death of our parents, my fate had been entirely in his hands. Ethan Joe was the husband he had chosen for me, the wedding day was set by him, and even the unfounded charges were imposed on me. I had no right or ability to resist him. I clutched my belt tightly and asked, trembling, Nathan Sue, do you want me to serve clients or not? As long as you say so, I will do as you say. Nathan Sue's hand froze in midair. He frowned and looked at me, displeased. Nina Sue, you are my sister. How can a daughter of the Sue family debase herself by calling herself this humble one? I looked at Nathan Sue in confusion and asked with a bitter smile, why would I debase myself? Isn't Nathan Sue clear about that? When Nathan Sue threw me into the brothel, wasn't it to see me debase myself? Nathan Sue turned his head away in disdain and said stubbornly, you brought this on yourself. Didn't you have the same intention when you forced your sister to serve clients? I couldn't help but tear up. Did I really hurt Sophia Sue? Is it possible that she framed me? Nathan Sue, have you looked into the truth these years? A trace of guilt flashed in Nathan Sue's eyes, but he unhesitatingly defended Sophia Sue. Of course, you hurt her. Sophia is too kind. She wouldn't ruin her reputation just to frame you. Her heart is much cleaner than yours. Back at Sue Estate, Sophia Sue was already waiting at the door. She pretended to hug me, sobbing incessantly, a picture of an innocent flower. Sister, I'm sorry. I just wanted you to forgive me back then. If I had known that Nathan and Ethan would be so angry, I would have kept it to myself. It's all my fault. I'm sorry. Sophia Sue's fingers pressed into the unhealed wound on my back, and the pain pierced my heart. I struggled to push her away, but she held me even tighter. She leaned on my shoulder, whispered in my ear provocatively, Nina Sue, how does it feel to be defiled by thousands of men? Do you remember how many of those men you slept with were beggars? I gave them money to lose virginity. At that moment, Sophia Sue was like a terrifying demon, and I couldn't help but feel cold. I used all my strength to push her away. Unexpectedly, she didn't dodge but fell to the ground, her lower body instantly stained red with blood. She looked at me in horror, choking with sobs, Sister, I just wanted to apologize to you. Why won't you forgive me? Sophia Sue trembled as she clutched her blood-stained skirt and cried, I know you don't want me to marry Ethan. But the child in my belly is innocent. Ethan Joe rushed to Sophia Sue's side and held her in his arms with heartache. Sophia, why didn't you tell me you were pregnant sooner? If I had known, I would never have let you see that vicious woman, Nina Sue. Sophia Sue sobbed, I thought that after so many years, Sister had already forgiven me. I just wanted to be the first to share my joy with her. Seeing Sophia Sue's teary-eyed appearance, Nathan Sue couldn't bear it any longer. He kicked me in the stomach and said fiercely, Nina Sue, I thought you had learned your lesson. I didn't expect you to still be so evil-hearted. Sophia has been waiting for you since early this morning, and you're so ungrateful. The unhealed wound on my stomach was torn open by Nathan Sue's kick, and blood instantly stained my clothes red. Nathan Sue turned a blind eye and hurried into the Sue estate with Ethan Joe, protecting Sophia Sue. The only one who felt sorry for me was my former maid, Lily. She struggled to drag me into the room and said tearfully, Miss, please hold on. The healer will be here soon. Lily covered the centipede-like scars on my stomach and cried out, Miss, what have you been through all these years? Why didn't you tell Sir and Ethan Joe that you had just had a miscarriage? I struggled to raise my hand and stroke Lily's hair. What's the use of telling them? You saw it too. They don't care about me at all. If I said it, I'd probably be accused of seeking sympathy. Lily, promise me, keep it a secret for me, okay? This is my last dignity. Lily nodded, choking with sobs. Okay, Lily will listen to you. That day, we waited until midnight, but the healer never came. Lily returned dejectedly after running several errands. Miss, Sir said you caused the second miss to miscarry and won't let you have a healer. He wants you to suffer. I forced back the bitterness in my throat, pointed to the needle and thread beside me, and said calmly, "It's okay. Lily, help me get the needle and thread and boil some hot water. I'll do it myself." Lily watched me skillfully stitching up the wound and burst into tears again. "Miss, is this how you've been living all these years?" My face was pale, and I tried to force a smile. Practice makes perfect. I couldn't do it at first, but after watching the healer sew it up a few times, I learned. Lily advised me in confusion, "Miss, it's all Sophia Sue's fault. Sir used to love you the most. As long as you talk to him properly, he will believe you." "Lily, what if I told you that other than the pregnancy, my brother knows everything else? Would you believe it?" After hearing the whole story, Lily's neck turned red with anger. She turned around and started packing her bundle, huffing and puffing. "Miss, we'll leave once you're better. We're not staying in this dump." I nodded and said, "Lily, before my mother passed away, she left me a jade pendant. It was a reward from the emperor after she saved him. The emperor said he would grant my mother one request. Help me go to the royal palace and ask for a declaration of family severance. Once the declaration of family severance is down, we'll leave." As soon as Lily left, Ethan Joe stormed in. He dragged me off the bed, grabbed my hair, and rebuked angrily, "Nina Sue, you caused me to lose my child. Ho! Are you going to compensate me?" I broke free from his grasp and collapsed weakly on the ground. Looking at his furious expression, I smiled bitterly and then took off my outer shirt. "Ethan Joe, I have nothing. If you insist on me compensating you, why don't you just take me? I'll give birth to a child for you." Seeing my practiced movements, Ethan Joe's face was filled with shock. Just as I was about to unfasten my inner garment, Ethan Joe grabbed the bedding and wrapped me up tightly. "Nina Sue, how could you become like this? In your mind now, can any mistake be atoned for with your body? If it weren't absolutely necessary, who would be willing to sell their body to atone for a crime? In those years at the brothel, I begged countless patrons to let me go. But they said mockingly, "We've already paid the money. What will you use to compensate us?" I said I was willing to work like a horse, even as a servant. But they laughed and said that nothing was more effective than compensating with my body. I resisted again and again, but they tormented me even more severely. From then on, I was traumatized and stopped resisting, choosing instead to obey. Only in this way could I suffer less torment. Ethan Joe hadn't recovered from his shock when suddenly, the sound of crying rang out at the door. Sophia Sue leaned weakly into Nathan Sue's arms and said to me with anguish, "Sister, if you want to sleep with my husband so much, you can just tell me. As long as you say so, I'm willing to give up my position as legal wife." Ethan Joe was afraid that Sophia Sue would misunderstand and explained eagerly, "Sophia, she is shameless and trying to seduce me. But don't worry, I would never be able to stand a woman like her. There's no way I'd let her be my legal wife." Nathan Sue was even more furious. He tore the blanket off me and said sternly, "Nina Sue, do you love taking off your clothes in front of people so much? Fine, I'll indulge you. You take off all your clothes in front of everyone today." The moment my clothes slipped off, everyone gasped. Nathan Sue subconsciously stood in front of me and said in a deep voice, "Everyone out. Send the second miss back too." Soon, the room became silent. But Ethan Joe didn't leave. Like Nathan Sue, he was stunned and stared at my body. After a long while, Nathan Sue's fingers trembled as he touched the deep, bone-deep wound on my back. "Nina, who hurt you?" I laughed sarcastically. "Wasn't that what you and Ethan Joe wanted?" Nathan Sue paused and said in a hoarse voice, "We only told the madam to arrange for you to serve clients in a brothel. We didn't tell anyone to hurt you." I laughed mockingly. "Have Sir and Ethan Joe ever been to a brothel? Do you know what kind of people frequent a brothel? They thought people went to brothel just to have fun, but they didn't know that there were many people with strange fetishes inside. Some people dripped hot candle wax on me, some people put a horse rein around my head and forced me to crawl on the ground like a dog. Others whipped me all night long with an oil-soaked cowhide whip, each lash piercing my bones. The most horrifying wound on my back was left the night before they picked me up. For the past 3 years, every night had been my nightmare. But Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe said casually that they had only arranged for me to serve clients in a brothel. My heart felt like it was being stabbed repeatedly by sharp daggers, and the blood wouldn't stop flowing. The wounds on my body were pulled, and it was heartbreaking. I held my heart with one hand and supported myself on the edge of the bed with the other, struggling to speak. Sir Ethan Joe, you made me strip naked in front of everyone, and I did it. Can you please let me be alone for a while? Nathan Sue was silent for a long time before saying to Ethan Joe, "Let's go. Let her rest." But Ethan Joe didn't move. Instead, he pointed to my stomach and asked with trembling lips, "Nina, what's the T-wound on your stomach?" The newly stitched wound had completely split open from all the tossing and turning. The raw flesh was exposed, and it was a shocking sight. Nathan Sue also looked over when he heard this, and his eyes turned red at a glance. "Nina, you were pregnant?" I put on my clothes numbly and said expressionlessly, "What's so surprising, sir? I served 198 clients in the past 3 years, and contraceptive medicine no longer works for me. It's faster to have a cesarean section. I can continue to serve clients after resting for 2 or 3 days after the wound is stitched up." "Stop talking!" Nathan Sue shouted and interrupted me. "I warned the madam that you could serve clients, but you must not be hurt. If she dares to disobey, I will shut down her place." I fastened my belt, wearily shrank back onto the bed, and laughed mockingly. "Nathan Sue, there's no need to pretend anymore. Even if you shut down the brothel, you can't get my innocence back. Besides, isn't this what you wanted to see? Only by confirming my crime of framing Sophia Sue can Ethan Joe break off the engagement as he wishes, and Nathan Sue can protect his most beloved sister." Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe widened their eyes at the same time and said in unison, "You know?" I asked in return, "If I didn't know, were you planning to deceive me for the rest of my life?" The room fell into dead silence. After a long time, Nathan Sue finally spoke first. "Nina, we're sorry, but if we didn't do this, Sophia would die. Don't worry, we've already discussed it. Ethan will marry you as co-wife, and I will find the best healer to heal you. In the future, no matter what you ask for, we will do our best to do it for you." I couldn't help but laugh. "Okay, my only request is to leave Sue estate. Can Sir do that?" Nathan Sue frowned. "Don't be ridiculous. Look at the way you are now. How can you survive without us? Give up the idea of leaving. I, as your brother, I'll make it up to you for the rest of my life." Watching them leave, the tears that I had been holding back for so long finally fell. "Ethan Joe, I don't care for your co-wife position. Nathan Sue, you can never make up for what you owe me. It's not that I don't want to take revenge, but I'm tired. I really want to rest. So, let it be. Goodbye forever." I took the declaration of family severance that Lily handed me and casually placed it on the pillow. "Let's go. Let's leave this house." Lily and I didn't take anything from Sue estate. Even the cart that Lily used to push me was made of wooden blocks she picked up outside and nailed together herself. To avoid being found by Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe, Lily could only hide me in a cave. Fortunately, we met a traveling merchant on the way. He took pity on me and followed us to the cave. Only then did I barely manage to save my life. "Miss, I've been a healer my whole life, and you're the most pitiful person I've ever met. The scars on your body will probably be permanent. Also, You've damaged your foundation, so don't expect to be a mother in this lifetime. I know. Thank you for reminding me, healer. This was the result I had expected, so I wasn't surprised or sad. The healer helped me boil medicine while saying with pity, I've also treated girls from flower houses, but I've never seen such severe injuries like yours. Who was so cruel to torture you like this? A sour feeling welled up in my throat again. I tried hard to suppress it, but I couldn't hide the choking sound. It was the people closest to me. My brother, who I depended on for life, and my childhood fiancé. The healer's hands trembled violently, and he almost knocked over the medicine stove. He didn't know how to comfort me. After a long silence, he said, Miss, think positively. Some people aren't worth your sadness. You should rest well. I'll go gather some more herbs. The healer couldn't bear to look at me and staggered out of the cave. As he left, I saw a tear fall from the corner of his eye. I felt even sadder. A stranger could see my pain and pity my hardship, but the people closest to me would only rub salt into my wounds again and again. The next day, the healer returned with a full basket of herbs on his back. He also held a painting in his hand. Miss, I went down the mountain and saw many people looking for you. I inquired about it, and they said it was ordered by Nathan Sue, the Vice Minister of Revenue, and Ethan Joe. The healer handed me the portrait and sighed. They are your brother and fiancé, aren't they? I nodded and shook my head, answering, they used to be, but not anymore. I've severed ties with them. After drinking the healer's medicine, I had a rare restful sleep. In my dream, I returned to Sioux Estate. My father and mother were still alive, and my brother was still that handsome young man. The phoenix flowers in the courtyard bloomed in full splendor, and I sat on the swing, letting the petals fall all over my body. My brother stood behind me, smiling and gently pushing the swing for me. My father sat at the stone table, diligently reviewing official documents. My mother was making my summer clothes while smiling and reminding my brother, be careful, don't let your sister fall. My brother patted his chest and replied, don't worry, Mom, I'll protect my sister. Even if I fall myself, I won't let my sister fall. The phoenix flowers bloomed year after year, and time came to the year I was 10 years old. In the 4th month after my mother died of a serious illness, Sophia Sue, dressed in rags, broke into Sioux Estate, saying she wanted to recognize my father. Seeing the wooden hairpin in her hand, my father suddenly remembered that he had made a mistake once when he was drunk while traveling south. My kind-hearted father accepted Sophia Sue. Before he could get to know her well, my father was ordered to go to Jiangzhou to provide disaster relief. Soon after, he was accidentally B.A. 10 to death by starving refugees. From then on, 16-year-old Nathan Sue had to take on the responsibility of Sioux Estate. Sophia Sue and I also grew up overnight and began to learn how to handle the affairs of the estate. At that time, we were very close, dependent on each other, and poured our hearts out to each other. But what I didn't know was that it was all just a facade, Sophia Sue's disguise. In fact, from the day she entered the estate, she had made up her mind to replace me and become the most important person in my father's and brother's hearts. The year I was 11 years old, I miscalculated an account, and my brother praised Sophia Sue and criticized me. That night, Sophia Sue found a lecherous man and pretended that he was harassing her, framing me. She was well prepared and caught me off guard. My brother believed her without a doubt and blamed me for the first time. From then on, my brother had a prejudice against me and always thought I was a jealous person. In the days and months that followed, my brother's heart became more and more biased towards Sophia Sue. I didn't know what to do, so I could only confide in Ethan Joe. To stand up for me, he rushed into Sioux Estate with a sword, heading straight for Sophia Sue. In the process of the servants stopping him, his hand was cut by the sword. Sophia Sue was the first to rush over and bandage him up, ignoring his scolding. That day, Ethan Joe returned empty-handed. I thought he was just reluctant to hurt a girl, but I didn't know that his heart had already fallen on Sophia Sue. The beautiful scene in my dream suddenly collapsed, and in the blink of an eye, it turned to my wedding day. Sophia Sue lay on the ground, hugging my legs and crying teary-eyed, and everyone around me was pointing and whispering. I looked at my brother and Ethan Joe helplessly. I thought they would save me, they would help me. But they turned their heads coldly and ordered the servants to drag me into the brothel and strip me naked. I tried desperately to escape, but I could never escape that darkness. I woke up suddenly from the nightmare, my whole body soaked in sweat. Lily ran over and hugged me tightly, comforting me repeatedly. "It's okay, miss, don't be afraid. Lily is here with you." My fear didn't disappear because of Lily's comfort. Instead, the unease grew stronger. I grabbed Lily's hand and begged, "Lily, let's leave now, okay? I don't want to stay here anymore. They will definitely find us." Lily couldn't bear to refuse me and nodded, gritting her teeth. "Okay. Let's go. We'll stay far away from them." The mountain road was difficult to travel at night, but I didn't hesitate at all. As long as I could get away from Willowbrook, I would be willing to crawl. Unfortunately, fate didn't go as planned. Just as we were about to go down the mountain, I met the person I least wanted to meet. As our eyes met, I saw the joy in Nathan Sue's eyes. He hugged me tightly and breathed a long sigh of relief. "It's good that you're okay. Come home with your brother." I pushed him away forcefully and asked with a frown, "Didn't Sir see the declaration of family severance?" Obscure and complex emotion flashed in Nathan Sue's eyes, but his voice was still calm. "I saw it. My sister is just throwing a tantrum. I, as her brother, won't take it seriously." I shook my head helplessly. "Sir, that's a declaration of family severance written by the Emperor himself. How dare you not take it seriously?" Nathan Sue laughed indifferently. "Nina, if you're going to lie, at least find a better excuse. The Emperor wouldn't interfere in his subjects' family affairs." Seeing that he was stubborn, I had to explain it more clearly. "Have you forgotten the promise the Emperor once made to our mother?" Nathan Sue's expression changed, and his face turned pale. He asked me incredulously, "You used the Emperor's promise to our mother just to get a declaration of family severance?" "Nina Sue, if our mother knew in the afterlife, do you think she would rest in peace?" I answered calmly, "From the moment you threw me into the brothel for Sophia Sue's sake, Mother probably hoped I would do this." "Nathan Sue, what prevents Mother from resting in peace isn't me, nor is it the declaration of family severance. It's you, the brother who doesn't care about his own sister's life or death." Nathan Sue had never thought that he had done anything wrong, and he still didn't think so now. "Nina, if you had been more kind, how could I have ignored you? You've always enjoyed bullying Sophia since you were young. To compete for my favor, you even hired someone to try to ruin her innocence. Tell me, who is wrong, you or me?" Before I could explain, Lily couldn't help but speak up. "Young master, Miss has explained that matter to you countless times. Why won't you believe her? That act of framing her for harassment was all Sophia Sue's own doing. If you don't believe me, go find that lecherous man and torture him severely. I don't believe he won't tell the truth." "No need for you to tell me. From the day you escaped from the estate, I've already sent people to find him." As soon as he finished speaking, the guards escorted a man over. "Sir, the person you were looking for has been found. He's the one who tried to harass the second miss back then." Seeing Nathan Sue draw his sword, the man was so scared that he fell to his knees with a thud and kowtowed repeatedly, begging for mercy. "Nathan Sue, it's not my fault. My mother was seriously ill that year, and I had no choice but to accept the second Mrs. Silver to act in a play with her. Please, spare me, I was only trying to show filial piety. Nathan Sue's hand trembled violently, and the blade cut into his wrist. But he didn't notice, letting the blood from his wrist stain the blade red. Why didn't you tell me the truth all these years? Do you know you ruined Nina Sue? The man looked puzzled. I thought it was just a competition for favor between the eldest and second young misses, nothing that could cause a big disaster, so I didn't take it to heart. I looked at the trembling man and said to Nathan Sue, let him go. In the end, you are more to blame than he is. If you had trusted me a little more, how could their scheme have succeeded? Nathan Sue, the one who ruined me was never anyone else, but you. Nathan Sue staggered back 2 steps, the knife in his hand falling to the ground. He squatted down, holding his head in his hands, struggling in pain. After a long time, he crawled to me and hugged my leg. Nina, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have trusted Sophia Sue's words, I shouldn't have doubted my own sister. I took 2 steps back, avoiding him. It's too late to say sorry now. Nathan Sue, you've seen my body covered in wounds, and those cannot be made up for with just an apology. Lily grabbed my hand and snorted coldly, Miss, don't waste your breath on such a heartless person. I smiled at Lily and said, you're right, it's useless to say more to him. Let's go. Watching Nina and Lily leave, Nathan Sue wanted to chase after us. The healer stood in front of him, sighing, Nathan Sue, go back. If you have any conscience left, let your sister go. She has suffered enough. Nathan Sue shook his head unwillingly, muttering, no, she is my sister, I will take care of her. I will heal her wounds. Nathan Sue. The healer couldn't bear it any longer and interrupted Nathan Sue. Do you know what she has lost? She has lost more than just her innocence, she has also lost the right to be a mother. Even if you invite all the best healers, how can you make up for it? Nathan Sue was struck by lightning, stunned in place, not knowing whether to chase or not. Before turning around, the healer left one last sentence. She has suffered enough, leave her with the last bit of dignity. Perhaps the healer's words worked, Nathan Sue did not chase after us. I thought it was all over, but unexpectedly, on th. night of the 3rd day, we were blocked again. Ethan Joe's face was livid as he pointed and bow and arrow at me from a distance. Nina Sue, you bitch, what exactly did you say to Nathan Sue? To trick him into kidnapping and imprisoning Sophia Sue. 8. I didn't hide, but walked straight to Ethan Joe. Ethan Joe, do you really love Sophia Sue that much? Ethan Joe answered without hesitation, of course. Sophia is the kindest person in the world. I looked straight into his eyes and continued to ask, why do you think she is kind? Ethan Joe didn't understand my intention, but still honestly replied, because she returns good for evil. Knowing that I was looking for trouble with her because of you, she still chose to treat my wounds without holding a grudge. I couldn't help but laugh. Then would you like to know what she said after you left that day after bandaging your wound? Ethan Joe frowned, without answering. Seeing this, Lily took over and said, she said you were a big fool. So easy to coax and deceive, a little bit of sweetness and you're fooled. Ethan Joe's face immediately darkened, and he rebuked, you're talking nonsense. Lily looked at Ethan Joe with pity and said, if you don't believe me, go ask around at Sue Estate. There were so many servants present that day, everyone heard it. Only you, foolishly thought she was a good girl. And you hurt the person who truly loves you for her sake. Among the people Ethan Joe brought, there was one who used to be a servant of Sue Estate. After Sophia Sue married into the Lord's estate, she felt that this servant was diligent and capable, so she brought him to the Lord's estate. Hearing us talk about the old days at this time, he couldn't help but stand up. Ethan Joe, what Lily said is true. We all heard it. But everyone saw that you didn't care, so they didn't dare to say more. The hand holding the bow and arrow suddenly lost strength and drooped down. Seeing this, Lily continued to add fuel to the fire. Ethan Joe only remembers Sophia Sue's hypocritical smile, but has he forgotten everything our Miss has done for you? When you were sick, it was our Miss who took care of you day and night, regardless of gossip. When you were injured while hunting and broke your tendon, it was our Miss who traveled thousands of miles to invite a miracle healer for you. When the Lord's wife passed away, and you were heartbroken, it was our Miss who accompanied you day and night, helping you out of your pain. Ethan Joe, could it be that everything our Miss has done for you is not as good as Sophia Sue's insignificant smile? Hearing Lily's words, Ethan Joe completely collapsed. The bow and arrow in his hand fell to the ground, breaking into two pieces. His eyes were bloodshot as he murmured to himself, "How could this be? How could Sophia Sue not love me?" Lily, seeing that he was still thinking about Sophia Sue, was furious. "That's right. The one she has always loved is not you. What she loves is power and everything our Miss possesses. But she did say one thing right, you are just a fool. A complete fool." Ethan Joe was instantly awakened by Lily's scolding. He looked up at me, feeling guilty. "Nina, I was blind." I smiled calmly. "I understand you. After all, I was blind too." Ethan Joe heard the sarcasm in my words, his face becoming even paler. After hesitating for a long time, he finally mustered up the courage to say, "I'm sorry to you, I will make it up to you. Nina, give me 7 days, I will go back and break off the engagement. At that time, I will marry you in style." This time, I didn't let the healer explain for me, because I understood that only by facing the pain directly can one truly let go. "Ethan Joe, you personally deprived me of my innocence and the right to be a mother, so why do you ask me to listen to you? In the past, marrying you was me reaching too high. But now, you are not worthy. Although my body is defiled, your heart is even more so." 9. Lily and I left Willowbrook far behind. She asked me where I wanted to go, and I said the frontier. "Why did you choose the frontier, sister?" "I've seen enough of dirty hearts and minds. I want to go to a place with fewer people. Besides, isn't the healer's home in the frontier? We'll go with him, and in the future, he'll practice medicine and save people, and we'll help him gather herbs." The healer was the traveling healer who saved me, and Lily and I became apprentices. Although it's a bit late to start learning medicine now, we can always lend a hand. At least our remaining years won't be too boring, nor will they be meaningless. I thought I had said goodbye to the past. But on the day we arrived at Falcon Pass, we met acquaintances again. That day, the 3 of us were resting on a hilltop. Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe suddenly appeared, Sophia Sue kneeling in front of me. Sophia Sue was bruised and swollen, with disheveled hair and disheveled clothes, kneeling down and bowed down to me nonstop. "Sister, I was wrong, I was really wrong. I shouldn't have framed you. Please forgive me this once, okay? I really don't want to go to the brothel anymore. Can you please beg brother and husband for me? Those people are all beasts in clothing, I really can't stand it." I wasn't surprised because I knew this was something Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe could do. I calmly asked Sophia Sue, "How many patrons have you served?" Sophia Sue honestly replied, 99. I couldn't help but laugh. That's still early. Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe like to make people pay back double. When you have served 396 patrons, they will take you home. Sophia Sue shook her head in terror, her body shrinking back involuntarily. "No, I don't want to. I don't want to live this kind of life worse than death anymore." "Nina Sue, I am your sister. How can you be so evil-hearted?" Lily kicked Sophia Sue in the chest, disdainfully saying, "Evil-hearted? Who can be more evil-hearted than you, second miss? This is the result of your own making. Sophia Sue stared at me with eyes about to burst, and after a long while, she laughed madly. Nina Sue, I am not you. I would rather die than continue to be humiliated. After saying that, she rushed towards the cliff. But she didn't get her wish. Nathan Sue grabbed her with quick eyes and hands. Want to die? Not that easy. Nina said she wants you to serve 396 patrons, not one less. I looked at Sophia Sue sadly and said, I also thought about dying in the first place, but they wouldn't allow it. Sophia Sue, if death could solve the problem, there wouldn't be today's situation. Nathan Sue and Ethan Joe dragged Sophia Sue away. Lily and I looked at the money bags they left in front of us, looking at each other. Lily asked me, Sister, should we take this money? I shook my head. I don't want their favor. Then what should we do? Throw it away? I pondered for a long while and said, find some beggars, divide it among them, and let them go have fun in Capital City too. Remember to remind them, they can only ask for Sophia Sue. Lily couldn't help but laugh. Sister is still clever. I looked in the direction the three of them left and said, an eye for an eye. 5 years later, Lily and I were already in the frontier. That day, we were gathering herbs at the foot of Mountain Haven and met a traveling merchant. From his mouth, we learned that Sophia Sue was still dead. She had a massive hemorrhage during her 23rd abortion and didn't make it through. It seems that evil has its retribution, and the way of heaven has reincarnation. Half a year later, I heard that Nathan Sue was robbed and murdered by bandits while searching for his sister. When he died, he was missing arms and legs, and didn't even have a complete body. As for Ethan Joe, after breaking off the engagement, he married a wealthy lady, but that lady was a shrew. After discovering that Ethan Joe was secretly looking for me, she became jealous and castrated him with a wave of her hand. This time, fate punished all the evildoers, and my nightmare finally ended. I carried the back basket filled with medicine and took one last look in the direction of Willowbrook, completely letting go of the past. Lily, let's go. The healer is still waiting for us to gather herbs to go back and save people. The end.